Well, happy Tuesday, everyone. I am Nathan Lowe, the Indy Dog Whisperer, and today I'm going to teach you to teach your dog how to greet properly. When you come in and you've been gone for a while, how your dog should not greet you is your dog should not jump on you, first of all. Jumping is a dominant signal to test rank. If a dog jumps on another dog and that dog is dominant, that dog will turn and snap at the dog that did the jumping. You have to have your version of the same thing, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. Also, your dog should not crowd you when you first come into the room or into the home. So, when a dog crowds you, I have a technique for dealing with that as well. Crowding is a dominance thing also. Now, what your dog should do when you enter the room is your dog should be smelling you. Your dog should smell. Where have you been? What have you come in contact with, etc. This is a normal, proper social dog greeting. So first of all, when you come into the home and you've been gone, or into a room where your dog is and you haven't been there in a while, do not do an extended verbal visual greeting. Hi, how are you? All of this excites your dog greatly and will cause them to dominant signal by jumping. You don't want to do that. You don't want to make extended eye contact when you first come into the room or into your home. Don't do this. This excites your dog as well. What you want to do when your dog jumps up on you, you want to lean forward and correct and say down, right? Down. I just lean and I actually make a curved motion with the top of my head when I say down, and I kind of curve over the top of the dog. The dog will pull back most of the time. Once that's corrected, I stand still and then I allow the dog to smell around me. Now, once the dog smells and gets a good smell, tail wags, is relaxed, I'll begin to move through the house. Now, if the dog starts crowding me, crowding my knees, with my knee, I'll just give a little bump to the dog and say, In other words, give me space. That is a dominant signal for the dog to crowd me as I move. It's a type of herding behavior. I don't allow the dog to do that. My rank is such in the pack that you don't crowd me. So number one, we have what your dog should and shouldn't do. Number two, we have what you should and shouldn't do. Now here's what your guests should be aware of and what you should be aware of when it comes to your guests. Tell your guests when they come into your home, please ignore the dog. Don't look at the dog. Don't make excited conversation with the dog. Just ignore, because we're teaching the dog to greet guests properly. Now, if your guest isn't comfortable correcting the dog for jumping, you need to step between your guest and your dog, so you're facing your dog with your guest to your back, and tell your dog, down. So what you're doing in effect is telling your dog, I'm claiming my guest, this is mine, and you're not to dominant signal what's mine. So when it comes to your dog, this is how you teach your dog to greet properly. It's all about what your dog should and shouldn't do, what you should and shouldn't do, and then instructions for your guests as well. I hope this has been helpful for you. I'm Nathan Lowe, the Indy Dog Whisperer. Have a great Tuesday.
Now, mind you, like, I rarely work weekend evenings.
Nathan, thank you so much. Okay, you guys, if you have a question or concern about your dog to share with Nathan, all you have to do is head to our Facebook page right now, leave a comment that you may have about your pet, and he will answer it during one of his segments live right here on Indy Style. Did you catch that? Ready? Down.
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 And look right at him.
And
down.
You don't headbutt him either.
Yes.
You just kind of bend into him like this and say, get down over there. So.